Randy, Mountain Air Farms. All right, we hadn't used our little saw in a while, or I hadn't done a video of the little saw in a while.
No, we've used it quite a bit.
Quite a bit. The only thing that's happened to me was there used to be a little handguard come out here. It broke off.
Right.
But that was probably my fault because I was up on top of a barn and I would clip it on.
And you dropped it off the top of a barn.
Yeah, I dropped it off the top of the barn. But when I do a product review,
Yeah.
But I've used the crap out of this little thing back at the sawmill in different places.
And it's
It's
the
a Saker
Saker.
20 volt.
Even the thing's almost wore off. The
Yeah.
wording.
Yeah, working wore out. But we've had it about 8 months.
10 months maybe.
Yeah. But it's done really well, everything. I even left it in back to four-wheeler and it got soaked in rain one day and it still works good. So
Right.
I'm kind of hard on stuff and it seems to be working really well. But we've heading down to the fire pit and we've got branches hanging over, so I was going to use it to do that. That one. And I've had to sharpen it a couple of times, but
A regular chainsaw you would sharpen.
yep.
So there's,
You just squirt a little bit of oil on it every now and then. And we're clear again.
yeah, somewhat. There's still a few little
Yeah, there's a
things.
few little things. That's all right.
All right, you gonna go on down the trail?
Yep, we're going down the trail and see what else we find.
Come on, dogs, load up. Bonnie, you gotta get over in your seat. They don't leave a whole lot in the side-by-side for
No,
us.
they come and take up all the room. Yeah, that's my only regret. I let my dogs ride in the side by side once. And now they think if it starts, they're in it.
Yep. You're gonna try to get some of these?
Yeah, that one's got limbs hanging down. I'm gonna see if I can start getting snake bit.
Ah, that's all right. They won't bite hard. There it goes. And that is the dogs breathing heavy, not me. The dogs are just over here panting away. Where they done some logging, you get a lot of tops hanging down and tree limbs hanging down and a lot of scruff. It's no big deal for our side by side. It's already scratched and dented, but other people that ride down don't appreciate it, and We got friends that ride horses, and I know she has a hard time when the limbs are down actually getting in her horse's way.
You hadn't called in a while.
No, but
Normally,
we try to keep it cleaned up for her.
yeah, they'll be riding and I'll get a phone call and say, hey, there's a tree across the road, across your trail. We need it cleaned up.
Yeah,
And that's fine. I like people using the property.
right.
Watching on one of them, I think it was Arms. He got that new thing that goes on the front of his Bobcat that articulates up and mows down. That'd be perfect for this right here. Sitting on the side of the trail.
One of these days.
Yeah.
But then, knowing you, you would have it all cleared out.
Yeah, I'd keep going with it.
Yeah. Right there above your head.
Right here?
Yeah. Because if she's on her horse, that's going to be hitting her.
But just a handy little,
It is.
and if it's lasted me 8 months, it'd probably last somebody a lifetime. As much as I've used this little thing.
How many times have you charged that battery?
It lasts a long time. I hadn't kept track, but I probably ain't charged it.
5 times?
No, it's probably been 7 or 8 times.
7 or 8 times?
But it
I-
lasts a long time.
Yeah.
If you got one with extra battery, you could go a long time with it.
Well, I know, and I've seen a lot of the products, they'll have like 2 batteries and an extra chain. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have them in all different sizes.
But the only thing that's broke on it, which it was like a little hand thing, just to keep it like limbs
hand
and stuff
shield.
from hitting your hand. It was just a little thing that come out, but it broke off. You could probably contact them; they'd send you one.
Right.
But it really didn't come into effect. But I've sharpened it. That's still the same chain.
Right.
I've sharpened it 3 or 4 times. But
I'm wondering how long will that chain last after you sharpening it?
it'll wear out. It's just like a chain on a chainsaw. It'll wear out, and the bar will wear out. But it just amazed me after I left it in the side by side, and it poured down rain. I mean, it was soaked. I had to let it dry out.
Right.
Take the battery off of it and just let it sit there and dry out, and then it still.
Just kept going.
I've been using the crap out of it since then. But that's a good little machine.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a little bit bigger, I'd like to have it. Does Saker make even like a little mini chainsaw?
I don't know. We'll
I'd
have
like
to
to
look
have one
at
of
it.
them to try to see
Yeah.
how the little chainsaw, because a little, you know, if you had like a 12-inch, 16-inch bar on one,
Right.
and it, not like this, but like a little mini chainsaw.
Just like your normal chainsaw,
Yeah,
but smaller.
But smaller with the battery, and just see how long it would last and stuff. But I think that'd be neat just to see what it would do.
We'll have to check into it.
Yeah, we'll check and see what they got. But that's what we're doing today. We're kind of had a little bit of downtime this afternoon. I hauled logs this morning, and we got to start on the shop tomorrow, laying some blocks over there. It's some big retainer blocks. We're building a retainer wall.
Yeah. And we'll bring you along for that.
Yeah, we're going to do the retaining wall tomorrow, and then I've got to go back up to Wanda's cabin next week and finish that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll start setting poles and going up with the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting on the electrician, and super nice guy, so he should do them good. And then we'll be able to go in and finish up Wanda's cabin, and you'll see the final product of it. And
Yep.
So it's always something, though.
Always something. But it's good to have something to do. If I don't have something pulling me to do something, I get complacent and
Well, you get complacent or you get in trouble. You get bored and
start doing something I don't need to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's like kids nowadays, I saw in the news this morning, they was talking about, was it 15 or 18% is kids that's got diabetes now? I think's what it said. And these are young kids, and it's like, they said, it's because they're not getting out, they're not going outside, they're not playing outside, they're not doing recreation, they're
staying in front of the computer.
Yeah.
And that's like growing up, which we didn't have all that.
No.
Atari came out when
we were in
older, but we would have probably done the same thing, but we didn't have all that stuff. And like in the summertime, we'd wake up, Mom would feed us breakfast, and then I lived next to my sister and her kids, so we all played together. But we'd get out of the house, and then lunchtime, she'd have something sitting out on the porch for us to eat, but we didn't go back in the house.
No.
That was her time in the house. Supper time, she'd ring out. We had one of them big old cast iron dinner bells. She'd ring it and we'd come run. So we had to entertain ourselves during the day. And I mean, we fished, we messed with the goats, we had ponies and horses.
Yeah, chickens.
We done everything that
Kids are supposed to do.
kids
Go out and
supposed to
play.
do. Yeah,
Climb trees, build forts.
Yep, we had chores and we had to get them done. We get them done real quick and then we go play.
Yeah.
We just done a lot of fishing. We had a spring-fed pond and we'd fish on it. And it was a lot of fun.
Now,
I'll have to tell you a story though. I know this ain't got nothing to do with the video, but I wanted to learn how to swim.
I know the story.
I told Daddy, I said, I want to learn how to swim. So he said, okay, I'll teach you how to swim. He couldn't swim. He never swam. I was born late in life. When I was born, Daddy was 54. Mama was 45. So, I mean, by the time I got up to probably 10, 12 years old when I was wanting to do this, he was already in his 70s.
60,
late 60s,
late
70s.
60s. Yeah.
But he had never swam before. So he got an inner tube and tied a rope onto it and threw it out in the pond. He said, well, get in the inner tube. He said, and then when you get out there, I'll pull the inner tube out and you swim back to it. And this is how I learned to swim. I think it would have been child abuse back then.
Yeah.
Now it would have been child abuse. But then it's like, that's how I learned to swim. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I had an inner tube to get to if I could make it that far. But I made it to it.
Yeah.
But it was just a childhood.
Yeah.
It's a different time. We're not that old. I mean, I'm 58.
I'm 60. So.
It's still different. It was a different time back then. I mean, it was.
Now, I am going to tell a good story on our little community is Sharps Chapel. Very small little community. We have a trash convenience center. It's open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a half a day on Saturday. I read a little story on one of our posts on Facebook, our little community post. A lady had pulled to, the dump to get her trash. And there was a young 12-year-old boy turn around and asked the lady, he said, can I help you? And he went over and got her trash out of her back of her trunk and literally, 2 or 3 bags, but put it in the convenience center, the trash center. And, she said he was no more than 12 years old. And she said this little boy was polite, courteous, wanted to help, eager to help.
Yeah.
And, and so she never caught his name, but she posted out there on, on Facebook community, whoever, if this was your kid, I want to say thank you. You're raising a good kid. And, you don't see that a lot.
No.
No,
you don't see that a lot.
And it's,
Not anymore.
and there's such a compliment to how those people were raising
Well,
There's
half the time
some.
you'll pull up and the kids are just sitting there. They don't want to get out and help. But that's like when we was young. You got out and helped.
Yeah.
Whatever Daddy was doing, if he was on, he done about what I do, just
Odds and
odd
ends.
jobs and just, it's all different stuff, just make ends meet. And whatever he was doing, I was there. And that's how they learn.
Right.
If they're not there doing it, they don't learn.
Right. Well, and even before you were even 15, you had your own tobacco allotment, and
Oh, yeah. Grew my own tobacco, and that
I mean, it made
got me a
good.
check.
He made good money because
Yeah.
I remember spending it.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't not worth all that work after she spent it all.
but yeah, kids need to get out and learn responsibility and to get out and to help people and to and learn their manners and yes ma'am, no ma'am, and thank
If you
you.
see somebody needing help, help them.
Yeah.
It's that simple. There's nothing else to it. It's if you see somebody needing help, no matter what it is, just help them.
Yeah, and you could be 12 or 92.
Yeah, anybody. I mean, if I see somebody in trouble or something, I just help them.
Right. I'm not doing it for the gratitude.
No, if somebody's in trouble, I'd hope somebody would stop and help me if something was wrong.
Right. Yeah, and you got to pay it forward.
Yeah. But we've been all over the place. But the video was on this. We've had it about 8 to 10 months and love it.
Yeah. So when that one dies, we'll
Give us another one.
another one. So and
But I
we're
do want to look on their website and see if they've got like a little mini chainsaw.
right, and we're not being paid by them. It's not nothing like that. They asked us to review
they did
it.
send it, and they
Right.
sent this one to us free, and we reviewed it.
Yeah,
And I really hadn't done much reviews on it since the first couple
few
of times,
times.
but now it's a good little machine.
Yeah,
I like it.
it has held its value.
Yep, it's held up.
Well, I think he's going to get on down the trail and trim some more.
Yep.
And then it's almost time for dinner. So we got some fresh stuff out of our garden, some squash, not squash, zucchini and fresh lettuce and tomatoes and onions. So we're going to have a nice vegetable for dinner. So, well, remember to like, subscribe, and share. We love your comments and suggestions. We love hearing from you. And remember, as always, we love you. God loves you. Y'all have a blessed day.